So now I'm going to go to share screen. And we should be here, right? You can see the screen, is that right? You guys can see? Perfect. Okay, today's topic is the environment. So we're going to learn some words, phrases, and important things about the topic of environment. So let's go to the first aspect that we can look at. What is this? What can you see in this picture? Good. You can see the word, no? I have to do this. Yes, perfect. I see you cheating. Yes, very good. Okay, yes, but what do you see? What are these things called? What are these places called? Good, it's air pollution. Fantastic. Coming from where? What is this place called? This is called a factory. Factories, no? Factories are producing pollution, no? In the form of gases. No, this is the gas that's being released into the environment, right? Perfect. And we call this pollution, or specifically air pollution. So pollution is in general any type of any damage to the environment could be called pollution. But in this specific situation, we're calling it air pollution coming from the factories. So an example sentence would be air pollution from cars and factories can cause health problems like asthma. Like asthma. Does anyone know what the meaning of the word asthma is? Asthma is a breathing problem. Asthma. When you have problems with your breathing, there's one of these diseases. It's called asthma. Okay, so that's one potential problem that can come from the environment or the atmosphere being polluted. It might mean that you cause breathing problems for humans or for animals. And a specific type of breathing problem would be asthma. Okay, so that's how we can think about specifically that. Okay, next one. Oh, so what is this? What do you see happening in the video? Good. These are called trees. Lots of trees. Uh-huh. Ah, yes, cut down. Very good phrasal verb. These trees are being cut down. The action is happening in the present tense, so these trees are being cut down. Perfect. What is this called, this problem? When there's a lot of trees that are being cut down, what is the problem called? Yeah, very good, Cynthia. Deforestation. Deforestation is a problem. Why? Why is this a problem, deforestation? What is the problem of deforestation? What's the consequence that happens from cutting down all the trees? Good, it reduces or decreases the amount of trees. But what do trees do for the environment? What are the trees beneficial for? Good, yes, they produce what gas? What gas? Oxygen. Perfect. Great. So trees are very important in the environment because they produce oxygen. So when there's more trees, there's more oxygen in the atmosphere. When there's less trees, there's less oxygen in the atmosphere. Why is that a problem? decreases. So we could say when the amount of trees decrease, good, is lower, or the oxygen level drops. So we can use the oxygen levels would drop, or the oxygen level will decrease. Perfect. And then what's the consequence of this problem? If we have less oxygen, what's the problem? Yes, perfect, because living things need oxygen to survive. Awesome. So the problem is deforestation cuts down trees. Less trees create less oxygen. Oxygen is necessary for human consumption, so therefore we need more trees, right? We need more trees, or this could be a problem for the future. Great. Awesome. Okay. So cutting down trees in large areas, often to make space for farms or for cities. So this idea of deforestation is connected to the problem of urbanization. Urbanization is when a city begins to expand and more people move into the city. So the city gets bigger and bigger, and what happens? The forest begins to be reduced in size, no? Because now more space is necessary for houses or for factories, and so these forests are being cut down. Urban means urbanization. Urban is the place where the city is. The opposite of urban is rural. The rural is the countryside. Okay? So just to understand that one. Perfect. So what else do we have? We have this idea of climate change, right? Climate change. What does this mean? Climate change. Good. It's not, is the weather is not working the same way maybe as it was before. So what is actually happening to the climate? Specifically, what is happening to the climate? Is it getting colder or is it getting hotter? Yes. So no, but it seems like the temperature is increasing. The problem seems to be apparently that it's increasing. The temperature is getting warmer. And so, what is happening to the ice caps? What is happening to the icebergs? They are melting. They are melting. The icebergs are melting. So, what's happening to all of this water? The water is rising. Very good. So, the water level, or we call it the sea water level, is rising. Perfect. And what's the problem if the seawater level rises? Because the temperature is higher. Mhm. Yes, exactly. There will be less land for us to live on. Perfect. So that's the idea, right? The idea is that the temperature is getting hotter or warmer. It's melting the ice caps or the icebergs, and that's causing the water level to rise, which is taking away from the land. Perfect. That's the problem of potentially climate change, okay? So it's making it hotter. What specifically do we call, oh, it tells you the answers. I need to fix this. What do you call this image? This is called a greenhouse. A greenhouse. And we call the gases that go into the environment greenhouse gases, okay? So that's a specific type of gases that go into the atmosphere. What are some examples of greenhouse gases? Carbon carbon dioxide. No? So the argument about climate change is that we have deforestation. What is deforestation doing to the oxygen levels? Reducing the oxygen levels. Less forest, less oxygen. What's happening with cars, with factories? What are they producing? They are producing carbon carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. Good. So deforestation is taking the oxygen levels down, and now we have the problem of the rising carbon dioxide levels because of cars, factories, and air pollution, right? That's the idea, more or less, in general, okay? Make sense? And the gases in the atmosphere we can call greenhouse gases. Greenhouse. Greenhouse is where we grow tomatoes, plants, etc., because it protects it and brings the nutrients. Okay, so next problem that we have is that this environment or this toxic environment of chemicals in the air creates what we call acid rain. This is another environmental issue that we have. It's called acid rain. Acid rain. So what is acid rain? It's basically when the water is polluted. We talked about pollution as the noun and polluted is the verb. So the rainwater is polluted and acidic. It turns acidic. Like gases like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen get trapped in the air, and then as it's trying to leave the atmosphere, it gets stuck, and then it gets into the rain and it falls into the ground again. So it could contaminate the water supply. No? This acidic rain. So we have the problem of the atmosphere, the oxygen levels, the CO2 levels. We also have the problems with greenhouse gases like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen, which cause acid rain. Okay? Perfect. Then, other problems that we have in the environment. What is this symbol? Radioactive. Warning, warning, warning. Yes, it's a radioactive symbol, which means that it is hazardous, or another good word is toxic. We have hazardous waste or toxic waste. Yes? So, waste materials that are dangerous or toxic to living organisms and the environment. Can you give me an example of toxic waste? Electron. Electronic waste? Why electronic? It's an idea, but why? Okay, types of waste. We have nuclear waste. Nuclear waste. What? Batteries. Perfect. Batteries produce chemicals that we are not able to biodegrade. Biodegradable, if something like a banana, if I eat a banana and I throw away the skin of the banana, what happens to the banana? It will degrade into the soil. No, it will decay. It means it will break down. But chemicals like nuclear waste, oils, battery fluids, all of these type of materials are not biodegradable. So these chemicals will not break down into the soil, but instead these chemicals will poison the soil. Make sense? So some examples of moments where we see these things happen is that it can cause a loss of wildlife. These hazardous wastes can cause a damaging effect to the wildlife population in different countries. Okay? So sometimes they have countries that have nuclear waste and they pay other countries to dispose of the waste in the water supply, in the sea system, which is terribly toxic and dangerous for the sea life and also for human beings. No? So one potential problem that comes from these issues is loss of wildlife. No? For example, habitat habitat destruction. So because we're deforesting, if we are cutting down the trees, where do the animals and wildlife live? They live in the forest, so we're destroying the habitat. Habitat is a word for somewhere that they live. Perfect. Another really major problem is oil spills. Huge tankers. Tankers is the word for a ship that carries oil. Okay? So the ship that carries oil sometimes has some kind of accident, and the oil spills is the verb. To spill is to go out of something or to overflow of something. So the oil spills into the sea, causing issues in the water supply. This affects, again, the fish and the sea creatures, but it also affects human beings. Why? Because we eat the seafood, and if toxic chemicals are in the environment, then these fish are going to consume them. Good. So this is a major problem, is industrial accidents. So we have problem, loss of wildlife. Another problem is industrial accidents. These are things that we should be taking care of. You see here that they're burning the oil in the sea, trying to solve the issue of an oil spill. No? An oil spill from a tanker can cause industrial accidents that damage marine life and beach habitats. Perfect. So another major word, an important word for this topic of environment, is CO2, carbon footprint. They call this the carbon footprint. This is important because the total amount of greenhouse gases emitted directly or indirectly by human activities. Yeah, so carbon footprint is how much we produce. Very good. Also, some potential solutions, okay? So we've looked at some major issues in the environment. We've looked at some of the consequences of those, loss of wildlife, damage to industrial accidents, and also the reality of our carbon footprint. We're also now going to look at some potential solutions. So possible solutions are recycle, no? To recycle the materials, especially when it comes to plastics. This is one potential solution, is that we can use recycling as a tool to take and reuse the materials of plastics that we have in the environment and use them again and again and again so that they don't have to get taken to landfill or to get put into the ocean. Yeah. So the process of converting waste materials into reusable materials. Yeah. So that they no longer be waste. Awesome. A couple more ideas, and then we're going to begin our speaking practice. So, what are other alternatives? We have alternatives like these. Cynthia, do you know what these are called? This is called reusable or renewable energy. Renewable energy can come from the sun, can come from wind. So we call it solar power. These are solar panels that help with solar power, collecting the energy from the sun. And also we have wind farms. These are wind farms that you can see an image of. These wind farms help us also to collect reusable energy, which is the opposite of fossil fuels. Renewable energy is the opposite of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are energy systems that will run out. Good phrasal verb, to run out of something. Yes, good. Perfect. So there's a range of problems, a range of potential solutions, and a range of potential effects on the environment. We're going to discuss this in more detail and do some more questions now. But do you understand everything so far? Cynthia and Zhao, you understand? Oh.